And welcome inside the Backstage Pass, a busy week and, of course, a brand new week. Happy December 2024 out there, too. Hard to believe it's already almost Christmas. Just finished Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a great holiday week out there. Enjoyed some time off there, too, from the Backstage Pass, although we did do a couple of things behind the scenes, which we did release today. If you missed that, too, our interviews with Ricky Skaggs, the great Hall of Famer and 15-time Grammy Award winner. That interview is up at the sportsguyspodcast.com. And, of course, out there, too. We got a chance to check out Joel Smallbone with For King and Country, their Christmas shows and their big Christmas album, A Little Drummer Boy. The live Christmas album is out there. Joel Smallbone joined us for King and Country. Interviews up there at the sportsguyspodcast.com. And, of course, this week will be out there, KKTC True Country 99.9 in Taos, New Mexico. Got a couple of great shows coming up today here, too, and pleased to be joined by a show favorite and one of my favorite guys. We got to meet in Nashville a couple of times doing some CRS events, and just every time I see him, always a pleasure to have him back here. Dave Lenahan. Dave, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, brother. It's such a pleasure to be back with you, man. Good to see you.
Yeah. Good to see you. I guess first question out of the box, how was Thanksgiving and holidays with the family?
It's good. I got to go up north. I'm from the Cleveland, Ohio area. So we traveled up north and we had a nice family holiday. We really did. It's good. See my nephews and my niece, grandnieces, nephews, I should say. So it was wonderful. But it's also good to be back home in Nashville.
It is good to be back for me. Texas, stayed right here. Just went to San Antonio, enjoyed time with the family. Got a chance to do a little, me time when it came down, just to work out a little bit and come back and just have fun with everybody out there, nieces, nephews, and see my little one kind of run around, enjoy her time out there too with everybody. It was always a good time. And those breaks, and now we're just a couple of weeks out from those Christmas holidays. How quick that comes about, right?
That's unbelievable. Time does fly, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah, we're knocking on the doors. What somebody told me today. Yeah, 2025, just about 4 weeks. Out now, too. Of course, finished a busy high school football season there, too, with Hampshire Finette and a whole lot more down here, too, that we really enjoyed being out there this year. And thanks to all the people in Finette, Texas, for having us there, too, at the same time. Hey, I want to know, ever since I know we talked, which was Absalom was out there across all the platforms back in September.
Yeah.
Give me an update on that one, too, and just kind of what else is firing off now as we enter the new year.
Well, we had I don't know if you had a chance to see the video, but a friend of mine, documentary filmmaker, Martin Buchanan with Shoot Productions, he calls it, came out, spent some few days in August and shot an amazing video. And it's out there everywhere. If you just look for it, it's on my YouTube page for sure. And I'm just real proud of the work he did on that. He came out to the cemetery, shot around the obelisks, and I did the old lip sync thing. I'm terrible at it, but I'm really proud of the shots that he got. In fact, he flew a drone through there up over the sign and down into the cemetery, showing all the stones, and it was just an amazing job that he did. So my buddy Martin, God, I can't thank you enough. And the song is streaming and getting some radio play, and I'm really happy. What that isn't the reason why I did the song. It was a passion, and I just wanted to get more word out about this Absalom Gleaves that history just forgot. It's a shame. He's a pretty neat guy. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah, I got a chance to see that video, too. I thought it was well shot. And, of course, you guys having just putting as much fun as you can in. I know the song has that meaning that we all kind of look at because you never want to forget about the things that go down with things like that, too. But also just that small town feel, I guess you could say, where somebody grows up, somebody works, somebody raises a family, somebody passes on. You get that small town feel, the life cycle feel of that song, and that's what I felt in it.
And that's what I wanted. I was looking for, it's really different than anything I've ever done before. It's more of a folk, kind of a folk song, basically. And we were really happy to get Joe Spivey to play fiddle on it. And he just brought it all together. I got to also thank Cedric Israel, who produced the record and did just a fantastic job with it. But thank you. It was, like I say, it's different than anything I've ever done. So I was a little anxious about putting it out there, but I'm glad it's out there. And, and I hope it just continues to grow, So
when you mentioned, coming into 2025, give me some things. Of course, you mentioned the podcast. I want to know a little bit about that. Update people for the release every Wednesday with some guests coming on there. As I fire off, 3 to 5 of these every week, and you never know who's coming on. You got to stay tuned to all the backstage past stuff. But tell me about, your show, Dave, where people can find it, who's coming up, and some things you're looking forward to going into as we end this year and going to 25.
It is called the Songwriter Connection Podcast. And I started it during COVID in January of 2021, and just been very consistent with it. As you know, what you have to be. And religiously every Wednesday, we've got a new episode. And I'm really proud of the guests that we had. I love doing my homework. And just like you say, two people just talking and shooting the breeze, but talking about song crafting and how these songs, we get under the hood, how these songs were written. And we've had some, I'm very proud of some of the big songwriters we've had in the past, and we'll continue to do that here in the new year. Guys like James House, who was an amazing country artist in the 80s and has written some late 80s, early 90s, and has written some amazing songs like A Broken Wing by Martina McBride and so many others. So, and it's just people I met here in Nashville and people that are referred to me, and we just keep it going, you know? So you'll find it everywhere. It's on all platforms, Songwriter Connection. And if you go to my webpage, which is thedaveconnection.com, there are links to my radio show and the podcast there as well. So yeah, check it out. I would love if you would.
Yeah, people need to check that out too, because I love getting a songwriter perspective from it, because we do a lot of artists here on the program too at the same time. And, you know, I love that aspect too, because I had a chance to talk with Joel on the interview we did with For King and Country, Joel Smallville, and he talked about, you know, that songwriter aspect. I asked him, you know, what was the favorite part of process of songwriting? What do you enjoy the most? And he goes, man, you know, it's magic, isn't it? When it comes down to it for you guys, you put so many thoughts into doing this, and I can't recall another career, I guess, unless you're, I don't know, massage therapist. I'm just throwing that out there, or I don't want to say a psychiatrist too, but at the same time, but where it can become so easy for something just to be magic and feel like magic, or to me, like feel like heaven, because you can express your thoughts in so many ways that to me, Dave, the song didn't have to be a hit for somebody to feel something.
I agree with you. Yeah. And you're right. And it's not always that easy either. Sometimes you really struggle, but sometimes when that magic hits, man, it all comes together. You know, I think about that song Absalom, and as I'm working, it's funny. I find that when I'm working or when I'm driving, these lines will pop into my head. It seems to me you got to get past, you know, all the noise in your head. If you get past that, that stuff is there, you know. And as I was working on Absalom's gravesite, these lines would pop into my head. I bet I had 40 couplets, you know, and then my co-writer Norm McDonald came over and helped me kind of sort it all out and put the song together. So, and sometimes that's how it works, you know. You're constantly, as a songwriter, you're constantly looking at things. You're constantly finding ideas, listening to people's conversations, something that somebody says, wow, that would make a good song. So yeah, basically that, in a nutshell, that's it. And you never stop. It never stops. So, yeah.
No doubt. You know, I got a chance to watch another version, of course, being a proud member of the CMA Association. I love that so much, because what they do for country music, and of course what they do for just everything in general, from artistry to songwriters to everybody who's a member of that wonderful organization out there. We get a chance to go there every June. I'm lucky to do that and get to the Music City Center and get on right there on what I call the Super Bowl radio row right there, do all the great interviews, to sign up all the great artists that are willing to come talk to us and promote their latest projects. Awesome. Looking back at it, you know, I think that's a great thing. And so many new artists now. I want to ask you about that too, because a lot of veterans like you guys, you know, you've been in this thing a while. You've released a lot of songs. You've talked to a lot of songwriters. There's a lot of artists now kind of doing their own thing, and I think finding like authenticity and storytelling is becoming more of that. I feel that with like a guy like Zach Top, you know, with 90s country.
You know, he's the first one that popped in my mind when you said that. He followed me at the Bluebird one night, and that was my first, you know, first time I'd ever heard of him, but I've been following him ever since, because there's that traditional kind of country that's getting harder and harder to find. Hey, it's out there if you look. And that's the one nice thing about the internet in the situation that we're in right now. It's allowed more people to get involved and put music out there. So I love that. And, you know, so yeah, I like these more traditional approaches, but you know, there's a little something for everybody out there if you look, you know, if you look.
I love that too. Who else has kind of been on the playlist for you as far as these new artists? And it could be anything out there, but I've just been back into like the Randall King, the Zach Top, Probably June, a little bit of that, you know, the Chicks kind of throwback feel there too, Little Big Town. Who else has been doing it for you out there on the scene?
You know, I have to say, I really like and admire Ella Langley these days. Oh, yeah. What an amazing song. You know, and it was one of those things. Why didn't I think of that? Hey, you look like you love me. You know, it's great. Just a great song, you know. But I listen to a lot of the Americana artists, and I can't get enough of that. We have a station here in Tennessee called Roots Radio, WMOT, and I was really happy they were playing Absalom there. But that's what I like. I like the stuff. Personally, I grew up on rock and roll in the 70s. Then I did country radio from 1980 on. So I've seen it change a lot and go back to the more traditional stuff. And I think that we may be into that cycle again. I really do. In the 80s, we had that new traditionalist, guys like Randy Travis and George Strait. I think we're starting to see that again today. A little less bro country. But there you go. I don't know.
Variety's a spice of life, right? To get a little something for everybody.
Exactly right. And the good thing about it, Brandon, is it's expanded the genre country. Americana's kind of been a cool subgenre, but I think the more that we expand it and we get it out there, the better it grows and the better for everybody. So I'm all for it. I love music.
I'm with you on that too. And I thought, one of the best performances there from that CMA's Ashley McBride. I thought her rendition of the Chris Christopherson tribute song.
That was a very special moment. That was one of my favorite moments the whole night. Yeah, that was incredible. Incredible.
And of course, it's one of those females, and we'll talk about this after the break, and we'll talk to Dave about it. But this female, he mentioned Ella Langley and Hannah Ellis, and of course, the Queen. I say right now, the Queen, Lainey Wilson, doing her thing
right now. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love what she's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, she's killing it from all aspects of it too. We'll take a time out here more with Dave Lenahan on the Backstage Pass. Come back, talk about a couple of songs, plans for 2025, and we'll just see where the conversation takes us here on True Country 99.9 out there in Taos. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving too. Christmas just a few weeks away. Happy early holidays from all of us here at the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. Coming back, a word from our sponsor. Stay tuned.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
And, of course, Caden out there, too, KKTC True Country 99.9. And tomorrow morning, we'll spin some tunes with Shelly in the morning right there, too, and jump on in Taos as you guys are driving to work. And I'll be on the phone. That's the beauty of it right there, too. And, of course, the interviews we'll be talking about is Dave Lenahan. And, of course, out there, too, we'll be talking about Casey Tyndall going to join us coming up today. We'll put hers out tomorrow. And then the two we did with Ricky Skaggs, the great Hall of Famer, 15-time Grammy Award winner. And, of course, for King and Country, Joel Smallbone joined us there. Of course, his brother Luke. They're killing it. They've got a residency at the Opry coming up December 17th through the 20th. Their final shows of 2024. So a lot of good things happening here on the Backstage Pass. Back here with Dave Lenahan, Absalom, the current single across all the platforms out there. Let me ask you about your plans for you mentioned the podcast and things like that, but I always know musicians never rest on the laurels. So the good thing is more songs can we expect in 2025?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm working on a new record right now. Absalom was the first release. The follow-up is going to be a song called Father of Peace, which is also about Absalom. That'll be coming out in January sometime. And I'd like to tell that story if I could real quick, because I thought it was interesting. I couldn't figure out why anybody would name their son Absalom, and he died in 1834. So, it was 190 years that he'd been there. And so one day I Googled the name Absalom. And of course, if you read the Bible, he was a bad man in the Bible, raised an army to kill David. King David was his father. So I thought, why Absalom? Why would you name him Absalom? So one day I just Googled, what does Absalom mean? And it was interesting. It was father of peace, or father is peace. And I thought that was really cool, because in my research about Absalom Gleaves, what I found out was in the 1800s, he was the justice of the peace in Western Davidson County here in Nashville. So people would come from miles around to get married, to settle disputes. And I think of all these gravestones that I found in the cemetery, I think a lot of it was people that just came to him and said, listen, so-and-so passed away. I don't know what to do. Well, I've got a little cemetery, bring him here. And not all of them could afford fancy stones, so they would mark it with a field stone. Some of the stones just have an initial, or two. So it was very interesting. So I had to write this song called Father of Peace, and I wrote it with the lovely Jessica Nixon, and that'll be the next release, Father of Peace, who was the justice of the peace in the 1830s. Just blows my mind. So that's the next one. And then we're working on this new album, and what I'm trying to arrange to happen is I have a new friend in San Diego. His name is Alan Sanders, and Alan is a Grammy Award-winning producer and engineer. He's worked with everybody from Fleetwood Mac and the Rolling Stones and Elton John, and he has agreed to produce my new the rest of that record. And so I'm hoping to fly out in February to San Diego and get it done out there. And then hopefully sometime in the spring, we'll release the full EP, Absalom, 6-7 songs. And then we'll really be hitting the road then. So, yeah.
Looking forward to that too, no doubt about it. I love the rendition you did. This is back in, I think it was July. And I think we may have talked about this on a previous episode we had done. If I Were a Song, if people didn't hear about that, especially the people out there in Taos where the show's being played. Now talk about just a little backstory of that one.
Well, that one, that was written with Billy Lee, a good friend of mine. Billy wrote Gary Allen's number one hit called The One. And a guy named Michael Saletta, who came to Nashville from Australia. And I met him years ago. He's just a great guy and a great writer. And it was something I had in my book for a while, just comparing if I could be a song, what would it be, And I think the whole kicker was in that bridge. If I were a song, I'd be the one you wrote. I was nothing until I met you, in other words. So it's always had a soft spot in my heart. So,
when you look back and you mentioned that it's the new EP coming out, I loved your rendition to have fun with country music, the beauty we talked about so much in storytelling. I can't reiterate that enough here on the show, but or something like that EP. Let's go back to this one a little bit. Louisville Slugger. There's my sports side of it right there too, as I throw in little sports conversations. But what was kind of cool was to hear a song like Squirrel Train set the tone for that one, right?
Yeah. And that was a crazy story too. In it for a while there, I think I was really getting known for all these crazy, silly songs, So now people are starting to hear the more serious side of Dave. But it got some attention. Pamela Hopkins, who was a co-writer, released that song and it went to number one in Australia. We were really happy for that. And then I decided I had to record it too. But it was just a fun song. You get older, you forget things. You walk into a room, you forgot what was I looking for, And we have a attention span of a gnat, and so it was all like squirrel, and that's And Pamela, who co-wrote the song with Scott Barrier and I, she told me that her band is called Squirrel Train.
The Squirrel Train.
That, and when we heard that, we said, "Well, we got to write that." So that's how it started. It's crazy.
I love it too. It's good songs on there too. And the one called, actually, I don't drink anymore, but hey, for the ones that do and who enjoy it out there too, Good Day for Alcohol. There's another on there too that might be
my father's favorite song.
Yeah.
My father's favorite song. He loves
Never a bad day for alcohol. Like I said, Good Day is always in there too. Hey, we were talking for what to break there too. The female movement now in here. You mentioned Ella Langley, and of course, so many great artists: Ashley Cook, Hannah Ellis, Ashley McBride. List goes on and on too. I know I'm forgetting a lot. Carly Pierce. There's so many of them out there, doing their thing for this women next wave of country music. But to me, it's all about. We mentioned again, reiterating the storytelling. I can't talk about that enough. Picking the right songs, making sure it's the right sound for that particular artist in themselves. But artistry, being creative. We talked about it being magic, but can't recall maybe since '90s country that we've had this many females on fire right now.
Yeah, you're probably right. Probably since the '90s. And you know what? There are a ton of good ones coming up. Wait till you see some of these ones coming up. There's some great new artists here that we see around Nashville that are just tearing it up. Sing, can write, can do it all. Mm-hmm. And so I think the best is yet to come. You watch. Yeah.
There was a song out there too. You mentioned that the best is yet to come. There's a band called the Scorpions. Yeah, back in the day too, that a lot of people knew from rock. They put out one called "The Best Is Yet to Come" too. I actually had that as my wedding song when I got married in 2010. So it's
wow.
Learn to dance to that one too, man. It's always a classic line. You see, music hits people number of different ways. If you hear a good song, you just never forget it out there. That's why Absalom to me is one of those songs that will always stay near and dear to my heart too, as well, because of the storytelling and that small town feel too. We'll take our final time out here more with Dave Lenahan, the Backstage Pass, the Taos out there in New Mexico, of course, KKTC True Country 99.9. Shelly in the morning coming up there tomorrow. We'll be on the phone with her talking about everything out there and spinning some records. We might even spin Absalom on the radio coming up tomorrow morning out there on KKTC True Country 99.9 and powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. It is Brandon and Dave coming back here. The final segment coming up here on the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
The Kate and Gordon Show is a 2-hour show playing the best in country music. So check it out at theKateandGordonShow.com. Again, that is theKateandGordonShow.com.
And a little time for rapid fire here. Back here with Dave Lenahan on the Backstage Pass, again, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. We're definitely going to try to get up there. I saw the dates come out. I think it's the 19th to the 20th or something like that, 1921 of February, which is Country Radio Seminar 2025.
CRS coming up. Wow.
Coming up fast. They sent us some information on that, too, I know, with your radio show in mind, too. So I'm hoping that we can actually get up there and do it for the 5th or 6th year in a row. We went back to the first year of it when it was actually online only because of COVID. And then we just went every year after that, which was the last 4 or 5 years. So it's been really good. So that's coming up fast. And I know for you guys, you mentioned the radio show there. So those dates are coming up. I think it's the 19th to the 21st, 2025 back in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at the Omni Hotel there too. And of course, all the interviews going down there for KKTC True Country 99.9 and hopefully a spring run for us on WSM, the home of the Grand Ole Opry. We just finished a fall campaign with the home of the Opry. Had 17 shows out there. If you missed anything, they're all on the Sports Guys podcast.com. Mark, speaking of sports, I'm a huge Arizona Cardinal fan. We dropped a tough one yesterday to Minnesota.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't like that either. Execution, drives, get 6 times in the red zone, come away with 1 touchdown in 2 games, which is not very good. Defense has played, very well, but of course they're going to give up some plays here and there. Tennessee has not had the strongest of seasons out there too. They competed in a bunch of games. I still think there's some things that Will Levis can get better at, no doubt. For you, football-wise, is it the Titans? Who is it?
I grew up in Cleveland, so I'm a Browns fan. And it's been an awful year. Probably the worst trade in the history of maybe all sports, giving everything up to get Deshaun Watson. I know he was great when he was in Houston with you, but he's been a bum in Cleveland. And so, yeah. And that's going to hurt us for years with the cap and everything. So I don't know. And then I lived in Cincinnati for 25 years. So I followed the Bengals. They're not doing so well. But to tell you, I was born in Buffalo, New York. So my team these days, I can't quit rooting for Buffalo. That game last night in the snowstorm in Buffalo, New York, was that an awesome game or what?
Awesome.
Man. Yeah.
The blizzard.
In a blizzard. I'm kind of hoping for a Buffalo Detroit Super Bowl. That'd be kind of cool.
I'd love for it to be because it's New Orleans this year. I was thinking Minneapolis, but New Orleans had the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
for 2025. But I'm with you. The Detroit Buffalo, I can't go wrong. Buffalo since the 90s, and Detroit to get in it for the first time, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, and on the opposite ends of Lake Erie, so
why not?
Yeah, why not?
What a festive event that was last night with that snow bowl coming right there too from 30 degrees, just snow angels. 35-10, what whooping when it came down to it in Buffalo right now is played in those type of conditions. I love the story that Mike Tirico was telling on the broadcast too, that they offered the fans to come out there and shovel snow for $20 an hour.
Yeah, they've been doing that now. Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Down. Shovel snow.
And then of course, free I'm sure food out there, hot chocolate as much as you want, plus all the food. And I'm sure there's probably other perks for doing it too. Hey, $20 an hour, I'd go out
and
there.
You notice that the stadium was still full during a blizzard. Nothing stops.
There's not.
Nothing stops them.
They wouldn't miss a Bills game, and it could be negative 30 below, and they still wouldn't miss.
Yeah, what's your job?
So, one of my aunts, she loves the Bills too. Sitting back at her, and so she's hoping. She's like, every year, this is the year. This is the year. I'm like, I hope this is the year that he's already beaten Pat Mahomes in the regular season, but I hope Josh Allen can really get across the finish line. It would just be good to see Buffalo finally just win one and just get on the scoreboard for that.
I would love to see that. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. Incredible. What a game.
Now, you mentioned, with this, I know the winter meetings are coming up now for baseball coming up next week. They start Monday through Thursday in Dallas. And the starting pitching market is starting to heat up a little bit too. But I know for a lot of teams out there, the Dodgers, of course, just winning it. You got the Mets, you got the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Cubs, all of your big market teams that are in it right now too. That's trying to, spin when it comes to baseball. I've always felt the need for a salary cap in baseball. How do you feel about that? Because these contracts are getting way out of hand.
I have to agree. It's just crazy. I mean, and again, this year's a good example. The two biggest markets, Super Bowl. I mean, World Series. I mean, come on. But I was proud of my Cleveland Guardians, though. Small market team, doing as well as they did. But yeah, I think salary cap is definitely in order. I mean, we got to do something. It's just it just seems unfair. They can just those two teams can get the Shohei Otanis and all the best players that money could buy. It's just not right. So
what do you I got to talk food with you here as we wrap it up too. But always love having you back. You're one of my favorite guests to kind of come on, just talk out there too, and just leave the conversation takes us. But food wise, latest restaurant in Nashville that's doing it for you. There's plenty to choose from up there. No shortage of them. I know for me last time it was the hot chicken battle for me was over with Hattie B's kind of beating out Prince's. I didn't get a chance to try anything else, but there was I like Sperry's was real good. And a couple others I want to try, like a couple of taco places. What's doing it for you lately?
Wow. I'm not much of a foodie. We don't do a lot of the restaurant things. There's a place here in Hermitage where I live that I like, a steakhouse called the Hermitage Steakhouse.
Okay.
Always a good steak there, So, you know what? I'll tell you what, there is another one. The Oak Steakhouse. Very nice. That's downtown, just off of 8th Street, just past the Circle. And that's fine dining. My friend Robert Spanberg is a waiter in there, and he's the best I've ever seen. We went there for my wife's birthday last year and had a wonderful time. Great place. Yeah. Take an Uber.
I'm gonna have to give you a holler when I get up there too, no doubt, so we can
Absolutely.
hang up there for CRS 2025 and
a couple of soda pops. We have to.
Let's do that. Let's go out to have fun at one of those restaurants there too. Again, Absalom is the first single released off the new EP coming up there February, March. Look out for that coming up real soon. And of course, another single in January out there too. The Dave Lenahan Show every Wednesday. New content is released out there with some of the best songwriters in the business. Make sure you guys tune in on the website and of course everywhere you can find podcasts out there. Dave, always appreciate the chat. Good chance to catch up. And my friend, we're looking forward to doing this again soon in 2025, no doubt.
Same here, my friend. Say hello to my friend Caden Gordon too. It's been a while since I've talked to him. Glad he's doing so well.
We'll talk to him tomorrow morning, no doubt, as we get on the horn with Shelly in the morning there too as well. So check out all the great stuff.
Great.
Dave has going on out there too, and all of us here at KKTC True Country 99.9 in Taos, and of course out there the Sports Guys Podcast.com. It's a grand slam of music and sports, and we're back tomorrow actually too as well. Not live, but some more great shows coming up this week. Bruce Wallace of the Little River Band. Coming by, Casey Tyndall, and of course a whole lot more over the next 2 weeks or so. Dave, we appreciate the time, my friend. Looking forward to it, and can't wait to do it again, no doubt too. We'll see you guys back here in a flash. More great music coming up here on KKTC True Country 99.9. Stay tuned for that. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, and God bless.
Thank you.